Hello everyone and welcome to aga-cad's webinar, Quickly Generate and Control Revit Project Documentation. My name is Eve and I'm an architect and a BIM application engineer here at aga-cad. We create applications for Autodesk Revit based on the needs of world's leading BIM practitioners, and we eliminate tasks that do not create value. We've developed the widest range of true BIM software in the world for Revit professionals, covering wood and metal framing, precast concrete design, and MEP system design. Today I'm going to talk about our BIM solution called Smart Documentation. It lets you to easily manage shop drawings for numerous assemblies, apply different dimensioning layouts to various views, create and maintain many sheets, automatically sort, number, create legends, and so on. So if you ever felt like creating views is time-consuming, that you're repeating the same tasks over and over again in each project manually, and you're wasting time on tasks that do not create additional value, and it's easy to miss something, I hope you'll be able to see how Smart Documentation can help you. And now we can jump right into the live demonstration. So of course, I already have my Revit projects open. First of all, we're going to look into views and assembly views. Features from Assembly Views tab lets you to create assembly shop drawings with automated dimensions and tags with notes, creates different schedules according to schedule templates automatically, and places created views and legends or schedules on sheet also automatically. So here I have a couple of walls with precast concrete, connections, lifting details, and so on. And right now, I've already prepared a sample configuration for creating the shop drawings where I predefine all of the views and schedules that I want to create. But before creating the assembly, I need to number these elements. And I can use functionality from the numbering and tags window, and I will number my walls. So I will use two rules that I prepared before the webinar, and I will number exterior and interior walls differently. So you will see that we can create rules by many different standards and then apply all of them at the same time. And now after I will click on OK, that's it. All of the walls were numbered, so you can see that this wall now has a mark parameter value. It's an exterior wall number 1, this one is an exterior wall number 3, this one is an interior wall number 1, and so on. So basically all of the walls in my project were numbered. And now I can select one of the walls and use Create Assemblies. And that's it. Now the tool, after I will choose the configuration, now the tool will create all of the shop drawings and schedules that are predefined in my configuration. And in those views, the elements will be dimensioned according to the rules that I predefined and calculated. So let's take a look. I can find this assembly in the project browser under Assemblies, and you can see that this is a exterior wall number 2, and it is right here. So we have a 3D view created automatically, also an elevation front view where you can see dimensions added with text notes, all of the lifting angles are dimensioned. Here I have the spot elevation, and here on the right side I have an ordinate dimension that again measures my structural connection elements. Even the gravity point was calculated and added, and here we have tubes and again the spot elevation. And also all other views that I chose to create. So we have the horizontal section, the section of the beam, and then also some schedules like material, takeoff, and the part list. Okay, so now after I've created this assembly, let's imagine that this is the first assembly in my project. I can create a template that I will use later. So right now I'm dragging and dropping these views to my title block, but just know that this needs to be the first and last title block that I manually create in this project, because after I create it, that's it. I can go to my assemblies configuration where I predefined all of these views to be created: 3D view, section, front view, and so on. And now under Sheets, You can see we also predefined a title block, but now I will use this sheet that I just created as a template, and I will save it. So that means that now, when I will create another assembly, let's say for this wall with an opening. Now I won't have to create the sheet manually again, because from now, all of the panels that uses the same configuration will have their sheets generated automatically. And we can take a look. This is a wall, exterior wall number 5. We can find it here again under Assemblies, and that's it. All of the views were generated, and the sheet is created automatically based on that template sheet that I created and predefined. And also, what's great about creating assemblies is that anytime we can update them. So let's say that I need to add another connection right here, and maybe I will also add another connection right here. Right? So now these elements are not a part of the assembly yet, so they will not be tagged or dimensioned or calculated, but I can just use update assembly, and that's it. These elements will now be included into the assembly, and they will be, of course, automatically scheduled and dimensioned. So now we can take a look. This was an exterior wall number 2, and here we go. Now we have 3 lifting angles that are dimensioned, and we have another connection here that is also dimensioned. Okay, so we just saw an example with precast concrete walls, and now I'd like to show you another example of a CLT project. So in this project, I've created the CLT panels out of parts category in Revit, and you can see that they have some pretty simple connections actually, but we still need to document them. We need to dimension them and show them somewhere. For example, let's isolate this part right here so you could see that the T-connected part is creating this cutout that of course needs to be dimensioned and shown in the shop drawings. So for the CLT panels, we can also create assemblies. I just need to select a part, use create assembly, and this time I will use a different configuration for CLT wall panel where I will dimension the part category elements and add a different type of tag automatically. And let's take a look. This is a panel number 521. And we can find it in the project browser under Assemblies. Here it is. And we can see that we have a 3D view, elevation top view where that cut is dimensioned, and all other cutouts. Also, of course, the schedule where I can see the mark of my panel, the thickness, length, and all needed parameters. Then, of course, I have the elevation front view with the cut that is dimensioned, with the tag that was placed automatically, and the sheet is already generated because I had a couple of other assemblies in this project already and predefined it as a template. So now all sheets are generated automatically, and the same thing goes, as you can see, for the CLT floor panel. So really, the tool is very universal, and this is the CLT roof panel. You can use this tool for many different elements according to your needs. And now again, let's take a look at another example. So I will open another view, and remember in the beginning of the webinar, I numbered the interior and exterior walls differently. And I've actually, I think I filtered these walls out. You can see that they don't have a mark parameter value because I want to show you a different example. Sometimes we need to number the walls by a specific order. So let's say in this building, this should be the first wall, and then they should be numbered clockwise. And if I need this to happen, I can create a model line, and the tool will identify the start of the model line. It will follow the model line, numbering the walls till the end. So now I can open Numbering and Tags window, go to Element Numbering. I will choose the walls category, mark, And here you can see I have the configuration by the model line, and in the sorting tab, I said that I want to number my walls by model line. So now I can just click on OK, select the model line, 17 elements were renumbered. And I'm sorry, but I forgot to tag them before numbering, so I'll just tag them right now. So you could see, I will tag my walls automatically. And here we go. We can see the values. So this is the wall number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 14, 15, 16, and so on. So all of the walls are following this model line. And now, of course, once the walls are numbered, we can again just create an assembly for this wall, and again we can choose a different configuration. Okay, so now the assembly is created, and let's take a look. This is a CO11, and you can see that again I have an elevation front view. Slightly different dimensions were added here. The door opening is dimensioned, and again, I have the spot elevations, I have the section, I have the part list, and so on. And another example is already created, so I will just show you. I have this project with complex beams with connections, braces, and they have a lot of complex cuts in them. And again, of course, we need to document that. We need to show that in our shop drawings. And with Smart Assemblies, again, we can just create a configuration. The shop drawings will be generated. So let's see here. I have this drawing where you can see even the dimensions were moved automatically so that they wouldn't intersect with each other. Right now, we talked about assembly views. And in this building right here, I've also already created assemblies of these precast walls. And as you may know, it is impossible to have an assembly inside another assembly in Revit. So let's say if we need to also create elevation, plan views, or section views for the whole run of these walls, the only way to do that in Revit is by manually creating those views and then annotating them, adding dimensions, and so on. And obviously that takes a lot of time that can be spent on more valuable and interesting tasks, and that's where the features from the Views tab will help us. With these features, we can create any number of views in Revit with automated dimensions for selected elements without having to create an assembly. And then later, we can also automatically distribute these views on sheets. So let's say I will show you the configurations for the views. And here you can see I have a configuration for these precast walls, and I just predefine the view types, whether I want to create a 3D view, section, elevation view. I can add a view template and even create my own dimensioning or tagging rules. So just have in mind that everything that I'm showing you right now is just an example, and you can create your own rules. Okay, so now I will select all of these walls. Okay. And I'll just use create multi-element view because I want precast concrete, let's say, because I want all of these walls to be added to a single view, a lot of single views. So I will create an elevation view, a plan view, a section view, and a 3D view. Okay, and that's it. You can see that the views were generated, and here, for example, I have the 3D view. I also have other detail views. So I have the section view, I have the elevation front view, and here you can actually see how useful the views features are, because our clients ask us a lot of times about having grids and levels in the shop drawings. And with assembly views features, you can add fake grid elements. We added that feature, but these are actually Revit's grids, and also we can see the levels. So basically, by creating views, we don't have to isolate the element, and we can see the surroundings like grids, levels, and here I have, for example, a foundation wall right here. So yeah, we can see other elements around the elements that we want to create shop drawings for. And here again, you can see the dimensions added automatically for structural connection elements. Here we have a dimension line for the openings, and here we have a dimension line for the wall panels themselves. And then, of course, the elevation top view and the plan detail view. Okay, and now another example with the views feature. So here I have a timber wall panel, and I've already created an assembly for it. So again, all of these elements, as you can see, they are included in the assembly. Here we have a sheet, and I have a front view here and a plan view, and all elements were of course automatically tagged and dimensioned using the features from assembly views window, and also the dimensions were moved so that they wouldn't intersect. And now let's say that I also want to have individual element shop drawings, because oftentimes we also need to document and measure all of these cutouts or even just simple elements. So we maybe need to have individual shop drawings for all of these elements. And again, that is where we can use features from the Views tab. So first of all, I will select this top cripple, this bottom cripple. Also, I will select a trimmer and a king stud, and also let's see this top cripple right here. First, I will show you the views configuration. So here I have a configuration for the structural framing, and here you can see that the difference between this and the previous configuration is that this time I will isolate the selected elements and I will also dimension them. So each of these elements will have a separate view, create single element views. Okay, and that's it. The views for all of these elements were already generated, so we can take a look. Here you can see that we have 3D views of these elements. Okay, and of course, we have the front view. We have the front view of top cripple with a cut. Also a front view, top cripple number 2. You can see these elements are automatically tagged as well, and everything is dimensioned according to the rules that we can create ourselves. And now when these elements are here, I can also automatically distribute them on sheets. So I will open the Sheets window, and here in the Distribute Views on Sheet Configuration, I can filter the views based on many different parameter values or view types. So I already did that. I filtered them out. So I will just select all of these views. And here in the layout rules, I can predefine a title block that I want to use and offsets from the title block and so on. And now I'll just use place views on sheet, and that's it. The sheets were generated. So here, for example, is one of my sheets, and you can see that I have the 3D view, the front view, and the left view. Right? And that is how we can use the features from Views tab. Okay, and now that we've looked into views and assembly views where all predefined schedules and shop drawings or views are created automatically with dimensions and tags, we're going to continue with other useful features like sorting and numbering, dimensioning, creating legends, generating QR or barcodes, linking Excel spreadsheets to a Revit file, then creating or managing sheets, and so on. And as I mentioned, these functionalities are very versatile and can be used by architects, structural engineers, MEP engineers, designers, or manufacturers. So I tried to collect as many different examples as I could to demonstrate the flexibility of this toolset. So first of all, let me open my MEP model. And here in this level view, you can see the MEP project with the architectural model added as a link. And here we have these air terminals. And I have this supply diffuser, this return diffuser, and you can see that the tags are currently displaying question marks, and that is because the mark parameter of our air terminals is empty, as well as the type number. So I'm now going to fill both of these parameters in for all elements that are in this project. And you will see that the marks will be filled in the tags. So I will open numbering and tags, and I will also open a batch numbering configuration that I've already created for air terminals. So I'm going to fill in both parameter values at the same time. So the type number and the mark. And now when I will click on OK, that's it. All elements were renumbered. So you can see that this is SD for supply diffuser. Number 1 is the type mark, and then 9 is identity number. So this one is the same thing. It's also a supply diffuser type number 1, but the ID number is different because they're numbered by instance. And that's the case for all elements in this project. So these are the return diffusers, and you can see that all of them are numbered in this level 2 and level 3 as well, because we numbered all elements in our project. And now also it's really easy to update if anything changes, because let's say that these supply diffusers are now type number 1, right? But I can change the type of this one and this one, and now I can simply run the numbering again. And that's it, they were numbered. So you can be sure that you won't leave out these small mistakes in your project, because after changing something, you can just run all numbering commands at the same time and all elements will be updated. Okay, and now we can also add dimensions to these views. So I will open the quick dimensions window. Okay, and here you can see that again, we can have a configuration for dimensioning. So I have one right here for grids and ducts, and it will automatically dimension all of the elements that I selected right here, like ducts, pipes. I can choose whether I want to dimension the face or center line and so on. And then I just click on Insert Dimensions, select a point from which we will start to dimension the elements, and then a line-based element. And that's it. You can see that the dimension is added on the ducts and also on the grids. And I can just continue adding these dimensions throughout the whole project. So let's say I will also add it here, and that's it. And I will also add it maybe here. And again, they're added. So you can just keep on adding dimensions wherever you need them to be added. Okay, and let's take a look also at a section view. So here in the section view, I also have some MEP elements. So I can just use the same configuration. I can select a point and then a line-based element between which the dimensions will be added automatically, and that's it. The tool recognizes the elements that I selected, so the grids and the pipes or ducts, and it adds those dimension values automatically. And also we can dimension levels, like so. And of course, we can use it in a number of different ways with all kinds of different Revit category elements. And the section B also was already dimensioned before this webinar. And now I also want to show you another feature of our tool, and that is creating the legends. So here I have this sample block prepared, and it's actually a very simple element. We just have here a legend component from Revit. We also wrote some text in, and this is a generic annotation family that was loaded with the load sample annotations command automatically. So now I can just basically select this sample block and create or edit the legend. And now I will need to choose the parameter values that I want to be included into this legend. So I will select, instead of width and height, I will select the size of this element and also the width. I will move these up, move this one up, move this one up, and also you can see that I added counts, so we'll know how many elements do we have in each level. That is because I also added level. I've hidden it in this table, And I also said that I want to split by page. That means that each level will have a different legend generated for it automatically. So now I'll just click on OK. These parameters are filled in. And now I will use create rows or columns. I will choose a line for the direction of the column and choose the elements that should be arrayed by that direction. And now I will use create legend table. So you can see they were arrayed. So I will again choose the direction and all of the elements that should be arrayed. And you will see a separate legend created for each level. That's it. You can see all air terminals right here. We can see their size, their width, and each element is calculated. So that's the first level, of course. Here we also have the second level, the third one, the fourth, and so on. All of these are generated automatically. And also before the webinar, I've created another legend for the hangers where you can see just a different example. And now let's take a look into the structural model. So here you can see that I have a section view with structural columns and some structural connection elements that are placed on these columns. And now none of these elements are tagged or numbered. So first, I will tag them so that you could see the result when I will number them. So I will use tag elements. I've again already created a configuration that will automatically tag any number of categories that I need. So now I need to tag columns and connections at the same time. I will click on OK, and that's it, they're tagged. But of course, the parameter values that my tags are showing here are empty. So I need to have a mark for my structural column and also a mark for my structural connection element. And now we're going to fill them in automatically. So I already prepared a batch numbering rule for the structural columns and connections. And okay, something is gone. Connections. Yeah, here it is. I will save it. So first of all, we are going to number the structural columns, and the column will have its location mark. That means it will recognize on which grids it is placed and the level. And also then we are going to number the connections, and they will have the column location mark and other parameters that you will see in a moment. So now I will click on OK, and now the tool will number hundreds of elements in my project. We can see only a few in this section view. Okay, and that's it. They're numbered. But of course, right now we can see that it's a little bit of a mess. That is because the values of the tags were smaller previously when they were not numbered. But that's not an issue because I can just use change or update tags in view, choose the configuration, and they're automatically moved so that they wouldn't intersect. So I think that's also really nice. And here you can see, for example, this number of the column. D3 are the grids on which the column is located. So you can see the D grid right here. And the number 4 is the level on which the element is placed. And let's see, this one is B31. That is because it's on the grid B, also on the third grid, and it starts from level 1. And then we have the connections. So this connection, you can see that it knows on which column it's located, so it has the host mark. Then it also knows the type of itself, right? We have the type here. Then we have the identity number, so it's a connection number 94. And we even can see the elevation of this connection right here. Yeah, and that's it. You can see how complex the numbering rules can go, and all of these rules, they're just created one time, and that's it. You can use them in the future projects. You can even place them on a server so that all of your colleagues would be able to access them. Okay, and now let's take a look at the architectural model. I'm going to start from adding dimensions to my exterior walls. Here we can create a configuration based on which we want to select all of the walls and then dimension all of them automatically, not only one by one. So for example, here you can see that these walls, of course, they're separate walls, they have multiple types, and I couldn't just dimension all of these in Revit automatically. But with the features of quick dimensions, I can automatically select walls that have the same orientation. So they have different types, you see, but the orientation is the same and the function is the same. They're all exterior walls. And then just simply use pre-selected wall dimensioning, click anywhere, and that's it. They're all dimensioned and the dimension lines are joined. So we don't have a mess of a lot of separate dimension lines. And I can just keep on dimensioning the walls in my project. Yeah, that's it. And now also, another nice feature is the ability to renumber the grids. And I will draw a few grids. So I will create a grid, a horizontal grid right here, and you can see it's grid number 9. And also I will create another right here, and it's a grid number 10. So I have a mess right now. This is grid number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. And this is also grid EF 9, GH, and so on. So you know that in Revit, I would have to manually renumber all of these grids, but here in the numbering and tags window, we have a possibility to number the grids. So now I can choose all horizontal grids and say that I want to start the numbering from the letter A. And you see, this is the newly added grid, so I will mark them. And you can see that they were renumbered. And I will also use automatically sort grids, and later I will explain what this feature does. Now I'll click on OK, and that's it. You can see that the numbers, the letters were updated, and I can do the same for the horizontal grids. So again, I will just, I meant vertical grids. So again, now I will mark them, keep automatically sort grids, tick mark, okay, and that's it. And now what's also nice is that when I added that tick mark, that means I will no longer have to renumber them because they will be renumbered automatically. So for example, now I will move this third grid right here, and you can see that the numbers changed automatically. So now it's tracking the placement of the grids. Okay, and now here also you can see that I have some tags added on these columns again, but they are displaying question marks because again, the mark is empty. And or the comments value in this case. Sorry, I added the comments right here, and I will show you another feature, and that is automatically fill coordinates. So we can automatically calculate the coordinates of these columns, fill them in a certain parameter value that can be, of course, scheduled and used in tags. So I will use autofill coordinates. I will choose the category. So these are structural columns. I will fill the value in the comments. Okay. And I will calculate the start point of the shared coordinate system. 38 elements were processed, and that's it. The coordinates are calculated automatically. Here you can see they were filled in the comments parameter. And in a similar manner, we can also automatically fill elevations and orientation of our elements. Okay, and moving on, I will open a level number 1 view, and here you can also see question marks on doors. And we're going to take a look at another example of numbering these doors right now. So they will show us a mark, but also I want to see the swing direction of the door in the mark parameter value. And I can actually automatically fill in the swing direction. So I will choose the swing direction parameter that I've created previously, okay? And here we can decide how our standard door looks like. So for me, this is, let's say, a right door, and here we can decide what we want to write for left or right swing doors. Okay, and 186 elements were just renumbered in a second. And now if I'll select this door, you can see that the swing direction parameter was filled in. So this is a left door, and this is a left one as well, but this is a right one. Okay, and now I can use these values in my mark parameter value. So I will again open the batch numbering. I've created a configuration for the doors and I will use it. So in this configuration, you can see that we added the level in which the door is located. So this is level number 1. We also added a type number. So it's type number 2 door, and it has a right swing direction. This one is a left, this one is a type 5 right swing door in level number 1. And of course, in level number 2, we see all doors starting with number 2, and again with all the types and swing directions. And anytime, if we change the swing direction, so let's say I'll modify the swing direction of this left door, now it's a right door, I could just use the automatically fill in swing direction again, and then run the door numbering again. And that's it. All of the doors were updated, and I can be sure that my project is up to date and that I have not left any mistakes. Okay, and now let's take a look at another example with the legend. So I have here a vertical block, so it looks a little bit different than in the example with the air terminals, right? So now I will open the legends and data view, and here I will show an example with doors. So I will create or edit legend again, and this time I will actually add the width and height back. Width and height of the door, I will move these values up, and I will also generate a separate legend for each level. And this time also I will add a row number. So the row number will be written in this first column right here. I will create rows or columns now, and I will select align for the direction and all of the elements. Okay, and that's it. So you can see the row number right here, and these are the doors of the first level, then these are the doors of the ground floor, the 5th floor, and so on. And now I will just quickly rename them. And now you can also see that I have a single sheet created in this project. And here I have that ground level where we modified the grids. We also filled in the comments value of our structural columns, and here we have a door schedule added. So let's also add a door legend that we just created automatically. And you can see that the values are correct. Here we have 18 doors of one type, 2 doors of another type, 6 doors of another type, and here we have the same result, so it's really accurate. And now I don't have to generate a schedule for each floor separately again and again, because I can use this sheet. I'm sorry, I don't have to generate a sheet. I can use this sheet as a template for other levels. So I will open the Sheets window and use Manage Sheets. I will create new sheets, and I will select right now all of the views that I want to be placed on those sheets. So I'll select the levels, the 4 levels that are not added yet, also the legends that we just created automatically, and finally the door schedules. Okay? And now we can keep the same scale, visual, style, detail level, and so on, and place the model origin to origin. So you will see what that will do. And here now we have quite a mess. We can just add views anywhere we want, or we can use group views by type. And that's it. the tool grouped the views for us automatically. Now I'll click on OK. And here I can rename. And now that should be it. Okay. Okay, and that's it. You can see that here I have the first level legend placed, also the schedule, and the plan view. So here you can see that this is the plan view of the ground floor, and actually the plan views are aligned by the grids, so by origin. So for the first floor, we have the level placed here, then we have the second floor, and the third floor, and so on. And now let's say if in any stage of the project we realize that we need to add additional viewports to our schedules. We also have to do that only for a single sheet. So now let's say for this sheet, I will add a general notes legend view, because maybe we just want to add some general notes to all of our sheets. And now I can just go to Manage Viewports. I can select the General Notes viewport, and I can place it on existing sheets. So I can choose the sheets that don't have the General Notes legend, and that's it. We can take a look now at the second floor sheet, let's say, and you can see the notes also in the third floor, and so on. Okay, and now we can take a look at the last features that I want to show you today. With Smart Documentation features, we can quickly import Excel spreadsheets into Revit with all formatting intact. And you can synchronize your Revit data tables with the original spreadsheet at any time, and the software will maintain the link between Excel and your Revit project. So now I will, let's say, browse the Excel spreadsheet that I want to load. And here you can see that it loads all of the spreadsheets separately. So I can choose which spreadsheets I want to load, or just load all of them, and then I can choose the view where I want them to be loaded, whether I want to create a new view or select an existing view, change the name, and to make some settings for texts and line styles and so on. And now I can just draw the tables. And that's it. They were all created, and we can find them in the drafting views. So you can see that all of these spreadsheets were imported from Excel to my Revit file. And now actually I can modify them in Excel. So I can, let's see, change the color of these columns, of this one, and let's say I will change the color of these, and maybe I will also change a text value right here. After I made these modifications, I can make something here as well. Yeah, let's say I will duplicate this column and I will save now. And if I go back to my Revit project, I can open Manage Tables, and it tells me that these tables were modified and I need to update them. So I will update. Okay. And you can see that now the tables are updated. Here's the test. Okay. And also another table where I added an additional column is here as well. Okay, and now let's take a look at the Rebar images. I will open the first project again, and I have another view with a reinforced panel assembly. Again, the assembly was already created, and I will just quickly show you a sheet where I've distributed all of the views. And when information needs to be displayed graphically, Revit users can show rebar shapes as images in a rebar schedule, and creating rebar schedules in native Revit that contain images is a tedious process, and a typical Revit model usually consists of rebar elements of many types and properties. And with our tools, you can generate the rebar images in a single click. So again, let's open that view, images. And now I will just simply use rebar images by host, select this wall, and that's it. They were generated. So now I will show you that in a schedule that I've already created. It's just a simple rebar schedule in Revit. But in this schedule, I will also add an image parameter value, because we've generated rebar images into this image parameter value. That's it. You can see the images right here. And now I will place this schedule in the second sheet that I've created for that. So you would see the result. Schedule, it's right here. Split it. Okay, maybe I used different sheet previously. Sorry. Well, you can see the images. You can predefine the size of the image that you want to generate as well. Yeah, and everything can be placed on the sheet automatically. And finally, let's generate barcodes. So I will open another view. And the idea behind this feature is to generate a code as an image based on your selected parameters. So I will open the Image tab and QR or barcode generator. And of course, I want to generate the codes right now for walls. And I will add the code into the instance image parameter. And since you can place anything into your needed barcode, the possibilities are vast, and it can ensure better quality control, enhance collaboration between teams, or speed up the manufacturing process. And the newly generated images will be placed into the image instance parameter, but you can choose any other parameter that you'd like. And also we can add some filtering rules and so on. So now I'll just click on OK. And the tool generated the codes for all of these 8 walls right now. And again, I've created a schedule for the QR codes. And here you can see again, the image was generated. And now I can just place it again on a sheet. So I'll just find any random empty sheet so you could see the result. Yeah, and here it is. I have the barcodes automatically generated and added to the walls. So I hope you saw, based on these various examples, that the tool is very flexible and anyone can use it. Architects, MEP engineers, structural engineers, and so on. And now let's go back to the slides. I hope that you saw that the tool, as I mentioned, is intended for architects, structural engineers, MEP engineers, and anyone responsible for documentation. The system is really easy to use and learn, and it can replace hours of drafting with just a few clicks. And now I would like to encourage you to download a free trial. You can test the software for free for 14 days. So just go to aga-cad.com and download the free trial. And of course, you can contact us if you need anything else. Maybe you'd like a personal demonstration. Don't hesitate to contact us and we will try to help you out. And of course, if you couldn't think of any questions during this webinar, you can anytime write your questions to us and we will help you out. Thank you for attending this webinar. I hope you found out something new and something interesting. And of course, I hope to see you in our future webinars. Goodbye and have a nice day.